Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Weinstein.
I'm Rachel Vindman.
I'm Jasmine Clark.
And you're listening to the Suburban Women Problem. What have we been seeing in the news? And why is it all about Moms for Liberty?
Florida GOP Chair Christian Ziegler, husband of Moms for Liberty co-founder, accused of sexual battery by alleged menage a trois lover.
Obviously, it's an allegation about the sexual assault. The parties are not in agreement. There is agreement that they had a consensual relationship with someone outside their marriage.
They're not debating that part.
And they were consenting. And hey, you do you. I mean, I really have no problem. Actually, what they do, by the way, doesn't affect my marriage. My marriage is, that's their argument, is that degrades marriage. My marriage is still the same.
But I wish that they thought that way. Like, they want to tell other people what a relationship is, what a family is. They want to talk about everything else about what other people are doing. Meanwhile, like in their own personal lives, they're literally doing all the things that they're trying to ban other people from being able to do or talk about or write a book about or anything. It's really, really interesting to me. I mean, it's a trend. I really feel like it's a trend. It's like, thou dost protest too much. And then later it comes out that the very thing that they're accusing everyone else of doing, or the very thing that they're like, you're ungodly because you do this or think this way, they're literally doing those things. I just don't understand. And that's just the consensual part. The assault part, I think, is even worse because it's just like one of these things where they're always trying to say that it is the Democrats or progressives or the people on the left, the liberals, whatever they want to call us on any given day, that are like harming people. But then it's them who make the news for, soliciting sex from minors or assaulting people, sexually assaulting children, and now in this case, sexually assaulting another adult. Like, this is like happening way too often for it to just be coincidence. Like, statistically, this is not
There's a trend. We have more than one data point here, right? Every accusation is an admission. We have seen this happen over and over, that this is no longer shocking. And like, first of all, the non-consensual thing is terrible. But even the part they're like not disagreeing with, the consensual theory part, I don't care. Like Rachel said, none of us care what you do in your bedroom as long as it's consensual, right? But we do have an issue if you want to go out and, let's say, ban a book about two male penguins, raising a chick together that was an actual true story, right? You want to ban that because you don't like that it depicts same-sex relationships, but then you go off and are having a same-sex relationship, right? That's a bit of an issue for us. First, it's an issue if you want to ban that book at all. But second, like, the hypocrisy is completely staggering. There's so many things to unpack.
So
too many things.
But I also, I mean, not to be too like bring this back around, but what if they did read these books? What if there was just a better understanding of people who live a lifestyle that's different? It's not just like having these feelings or wanting to do these things, but like sort of executing that. Like, they might find freedom in it. They might be like, oh, okay, well.
But that might be their fear. I think that might be their fear, is that
100%.
by being accepting of it, that like they are appealing to their deepest, darkest desires, in their opinion.
Yeah.
And so I think that they maybe,
which they've been told were wrong.
Guilt.
Yeah.
There's a bit of guilt in that they have these feelings and they're doing these things and they're doing them because they want to, but now they're like, something's wrong with me. And therefore I need to go out and try to, and I don't know that to be true. I'm not a psychiatrist and I'm not trying to psychoanalyze them, but I do often think a lot of times people, it's like hurt people.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's just this like internal guilt that they wish that they didn't have the feelings that they had, or they didn't want to do the things they're doing. Or maybe this wife, this Moms for Liberty person, while this is consensual because there was an agreement, maybe there's a part of her that's like, I actually don't want to share my husband. And, and so this is their their like outcry or their backlash to their own internal guilt and or feelings of discomfort. I don't know. But I mean, I sometimes wonder like why people are so adamant against something that they're actually doing. And I think it's because they're like fighting internal demons that they, or at least, and I don't want to say demons to demonize that type of relationship, but
their
to
own
what
demons.
they feel
what they
are
think,
their internal demons.
I think that's fair. Maybe this will be a growth moment for them, but it's just really extremely hard to have any kind of empathy. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not really, but I mean, for a lot of people, having a child who is LGBTQ plus would be one of those moments. Then it happens and you digest it and you realize it's okay. But I think a lot of the fear in that is like, will my child be accepted? Will I find love? Will all those things? And then once those kind of questions those fears rather are allayed, then you can, get back to wanting the best for your child. But it's okay to have, I mean, all of us as parents we have fears and concerns for our children, and we want them just, we know how hard it is growing up because we've been through it, and we want them to have the best experience. It can manifest itself in a horrible, horrible way. I do like to think back to my, I always think that people are more alike than they are different. What they do with their differences, is really kind of what separates us, and how they kind of, the direction they take, their desires and fears and where that goes is kind of where you sort of, separate the women from the girls, as they say. But
I think that's a good point. Like, do you look at those differences and do you explore those fears and explore those differences? Or do you, as Jasmine say, right, do you internalize that guilt? But then I think there's also, it could be an external blame, right? If you have been told that this is bad, it could also be just an external blame, and you're looking for someone else to blame. So we're going to blame this book about two penguins, right? Or you're the woman in Texas who blames her addiction to porn on a book that featured a single kiss, right? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think we need a new word, not ridiculous. So we need to, but Jasmine, you want to tell the story?
Yeah. So for those who are unfamiliar with what we're talking about, at a
you still wish you were familiar, but you're not. So
we can't unlearn this, and now you won't be able to either.
Yeah, exactly. We know, so now you will know. But at a school board meeting in Texas, there was a woman who basically blamed a single kiss in a scholastic book, blamed that kiss on what sparked her porn addiction. Just a coincidence. I mean, if we're talking about coincidences or not, she also happens to work for a conservative publisher.
Follow the money, people.
So, it's very interesting to me because, one, I think that, if we are going to blame single kisses on porn, then every Disney movie, which I guess now everyone is like, oh, I don't know about Disney, but the Sleeping Beauty, how was she awakened? Now all of a sudden, if a book has a single kiss in it, then it is a gateway drug to pornography. Like, the leaps and bounds that these people take.
Like, kisses exist, gay people exist, right? Reading about two gay penguins doesn't make you gay. Reading about a kiss doesn't make you have an addiction to pornography any more than my daughter's obsession with reading about the Lion King and the Lion King movie is going to make her into a lion.
But I think that it also just points out something that we've talked about a lot on the pod and over the last couple of years, and something that just really plays out. And that is just that the power of fear. And how if you can just make people scared of something, then sometimes they will act or think irrationally out of fear. And so that's pretty much been the Republican playbook for so long, is just try to make people afraid of things. They make you afraid of the Black people moving in next door to you in your suburbs. Let's make people afraid of trans kids, even though they make up a very small swath of the population, and they are more vulnerable. Like, they're not harming people. They're more vulnerable to being harmed. Like, they want to make you scared that, if your child reads a book and there's a kiss in it, that your child is now going to become addicted to porn. Like, there's all this like fear built into their playbook. That fear is powerful. And that's something that we have to overcome pretty much every election cycle, because that's their playbook. And it has worked. It's their playbook because it works.